Oh, man.
What?
Splashed myself.
You splashed yourself? Okay.
Something on my neck. That's
Brian's an idiot. Welcome back to another episode. First off, we just want to say thank you. Whoever's, you guys were pretty cool this week. We reached 100 subs on YouTube.
You were pretty cool this week.
You were pretty cool. I mean, pretty cool every week. But,
you guys are always.
We reached 100 subs on YouTube. We reached 5,000 followers on TikTok. That's more than we could ask for.
I think we're at almost 1,500 downloads too.
Yeah, you guys are crushing it right now.
Let's just say it's more than we expected. Probably going into this.
That's 100% true.
What's cool is too. I think one of our episodes from like 3 weeks ago was sitting at 102 downloads. I checked yesterday. That episode from 3 weeks ago is now over like 125. So because they're going back and listening to the old ones, which is awesome. So thank you.
That's cool.
It's just me. I listened to it 125 times on repeat.
No, it's not listening to downloads.
I downloaded.
I got 16 phones in his room. Downloaded all this.
I downloaded it all on like 18 different apps just so we get the download numbers.
Yeah, but that's my microphone.
It sounds quiet. Talk.
I'm normally loud though. That's the issue.
Okay. That's true. You are loud.
So we have some games to talk about.
Right.
What a fun week.
Yeah. So run down to this episode. Give a quick little. We'll review our games as always. Then we're gonna get into apparently very popular segment now.
Well, we got to review next week's game.
Review, then preview, and then we'll do our new favorite segment because you guys loved it. Overrated, underrated, or properly rated. Yeah, that's right. Shut up, baby. And then not a segment, but something we're gonna do today is comparing Premier League teams to beer because we're Premier League compliant. So why not?
TikTok comment?
No, that was an Instagram comment, and I actually have to shout out the guy that said it. So
I'll go to the Instagram.
Please check out what I have to say.
Shout him out now, or do you want to get there? Shout him out when we.
Well, shout him out when we get there. Just have it ready. But props to that guy for. It's a good idea.
Yeah, and if you guys have any comments, Premier League Compliance, at League Pints on Instagram, that's where he shouted out.
Yeah.
Cheap plug. Fuck it. That's what we do.
All right.
Let's get into the first week of games.
First
game of the week. A couple teams played twice this weekend, making up games. I think Leeds played twice, Southampton.
I think
those guys. So first game on Friday is Wolves Leeds, and Wolves come away 1-0 winners at home.
You know what? Watching this game, it was actually for a 1-0 game. I think for 64 minutes there were no goals. But this was a good game.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed watching this game. I feel like it was pretty end to end. Both teams had some chances. Crap. You know what? How do we pronounce his name?
Meslier.
Meslier, is that it? He played great. He had a bunch of really good saves. I think at one point, I'm not sure who it was for. It's going to kill me. Someone for Wolves literally rang the crossbar.
Traore. Yeah, he ripped it from outside the box.
No, not for the goal.
Oh.
It was like literally the first 5 minutes. Someone rang the crossbar for Wolves. But this was a fun game. I mean, I expected Leeds to have, all the chances and, be a bigger threat going forward. But it was, for a game that was only one goal, it didn't really seem like there was much defense. It was a bad last ball, a shot that went over, a save, maybe a challenge to take away a scoring chance last minute. But this was actually a game I didn't think was going to be good, but it turned out to be a really fun end-to-end game to watch.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, it just took me 45 minutes to try to find the games from this week on the computer. So forgive me for not talking that much during that preview.
It's okay, no one did. I just talked all the time.
It took a minute.
But did we really talk about the goal yet? Or
did you mention the Meslier own goal?
So 60, it's a harsh own goal, but I mean, Traore rips one from outside the box, super hard, rang it off the crossbar, and I mean, Meslier goes to dive to save it, gets in front of it, or hits the bar, gets behind him, hits off his back, and bounces in. Really unfortunate, but great shot on goal from Traore to just put it on frame.
Yeah, and the fact that he got the ball where he did, I think he took on one or two players, and he had he's a fucking unit, and he was holding off one guy, another guy was lunging in to try and block it, and he still kept his composure, and he hit it hard, and he knew he wanted to go to the top corner. And again, as a goalie, that's the worst feeling is you hear it hit the post, you're like, oh, I'm good, and then you feel it hit you, and you're like, that didn't just happen. Especially after the good game he had, just to turn around and just see that ball trickle over the line, you're just like, the fuck? Because you can't, that's not savable.
Speaking of Traore, going to our comments, a lot of people thought Traore overrated was a very popular comment, and then I think one person called him an oiled up bodybuilder that can run, which was a very funny thing. So
it's pretty good.
For sure, I said underrated.
Built like a brick shit house.
That was so funny. I had to point that out, though. That kid's comment it made me laugh, at least. All right, we can move on?
Yep.
Okay.
Wait. Do you have anything to say about the game?
No, you guys said enough. I don't want to keep talking.
Okay. What do you guys got next?
I have Southampton, the team in the worst form in the league, probably, and Chelsea. Is that what we got?
Yeah.
All right.
It didn't play out like I thought it was gonna.
Can we pretty? I mean, Minamino comes in during this game, right? He doesn't start this game. He gets subbed in, I think, for injury.
He gets subbed in. No, he
started.
He starts.
Does he start?
Excuse me. Oh my god, I'm dying. What?
It might have been the second game of the week that he got subbed in.
Oh, okay, maybe he gets subbed in.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
Okay,
played twice this week.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Ings and Minamino don't start the second game this week. Okay, that's what I wanted to point out. So that makes sense. We can keep going. This game.
This game. I mean, I feel like Chelsea had most of the possession. They were asking all the questions, and then the one time Southampton got into the Chelsea 18, Minamino. I don't even know how he scored this.
Like an outside the foot kind of.
Yeah, he had two guys around him, and they kind of just looked at each other, looked at him, and he was just so calm. I think he gets by one, or I puts a move on or something. And it's like an outside the foot weird little pass into the side netting, which, like you said, it's their first chance down the other end of the field, and they make it count.
And their one and only chance for this game, pretty much.
My favorite thing though too, I think it was Men in Blazers, and I always reference them because I always tweet the funniest shit. He ran off, and when he slid on his knees when he was celebrating, he was tapping the badge on his shirt. So when they said that, they're like, "Yeah, no, he's never going back to Liverpool."
I mean,
he's committed.
It's another Danny Ings.
It's a player that's just getting their opportunity. I mean, do you think Lingard ever wants to go back to Man U? He played 3 games with West Ham and did more there than he's done the last 3 seasons with United.
Yeah, he's crushing.
I mean,
right now.
Yeah. And sometimes it's like there's so much competition at those top clubs, and if one thing goes wrong, like Lingard, I mean, just kind of going on a tangent now, but he just went through a lot of shit. I feel like on the United team, he had his chances, didn't perform couldn't score for over a year. And sometimes they just need this change of pace, or he's just not fitting in a certain system. And he's thriving under Moyes right now.
And it didn't help too that all the rumors of Man U bringing in other players, and they finally signed James. So when that happens to strikers or any player really, when you hear this player's going to sign and take my spot, or I'm getting linked on the way out, or someone does come in, I mean, it's got to be so damaging. And like you said, to your guys' point, for Minamino to go to a team where he's going to get time, he really doesn't have to worry about, which big name at this big club is going to take over for me next. He's making the most of it so far.
Yeah.
He's playing well.
Let's get back to the Southampton game, just because one thing I wanted to talk about was with Tuchel's lineups, just looking at them the first couple weeks, I feel like he's playing so defensive, or such a different. I mean, when you compare his lineups to Lampard's,
oh yeah,
it's just insane.
Where you had Ziyech, you had Havertz, you had Werner, you had Pulisic, all playing.
It's like he was trying to force all the players he signed into the lineup when obviously it didn't work.
Well, did you guys see the quote? I think it was midweek. It might have been for the Champions League game, where the reporter asked Tuchel, he was like, do you think it's your duty? Do you accept the fact that it's your duty to get all these big money signings to play together and play cohesively? And he was like, no, I don't accept that at all. I'm here to win games. It has nothing to do with putting big players together.
Yeah.
And I think that was where Lampard went wrong. Lampard went wrong because they signed a bunch of people, and he thought, well, if I don't play them, I look stupid. So I have to make them work, and it's proving now that
Quite the opposite.
They do tie this game, which probably was a bad result given Southampton's form. But
they still haven't lost since he's been there, right?
That's what I'm saying. They haven't lost. So they're doing better than Lampard was while he was there.
Yeah. But, I mean, he's relying on players Conte was injured, so he's back. But, Marcus Alonso, who wasn't seeing much time before.
Never. A rare start of injury, you'd see Alonso maybe.
Yeah. Kovacic, too. He didn't really start games and get much time. So it's obviously working. And one call-out was Hudson-Odoi got subbed in this game and then got subbed back out 20 minutes later.
Yeah, that sucks, huh?
Yeah, I think Tuchel came out and said, I just didn't like the tactics there and took him out. That sucks as a player, though.
That's such a kick in the dick.
But as a manager, though, take some balls to make that decision. To just go against what you just did 20 minutes ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's been walking into the Stamford Bridge with his balls on the ground, though, so he doesn't care right now.
I feel like, that's... I mean, I feel like if Lampard put in a player and he found out 5 minutes later he didn't like it, he'd be like, well, I'm fucked now.
Falls on the ground, he walks in and just...
Yes. You can tell he's changing everything. He's not playing the big players.
That was hilarious.
He's walking to the tunnel.
Chilwell, what was Chilwell? An $84 million fucking signing or something like that? Hasn't played in weeks?
I don't think it's that much.
All right, I know, but it's not. I think 84 might have been McGuire.
It was.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
but
that was like 80 million too much.
But let's yeah, it was. But let's get to the Chelsea goal in this game. Mason Mount scores on a pen. He has the ball. I think he's to the left of the goal inside the Southampton 18. And Danny Ings puts in a true forwards tackle, just goes in, legs flailing, gets none of the ball, just completely takes him out. After it happens, he's laying on the ground, picks his head up like, yeah, I just did that. Yep, no complaints from anybody. And then Mount steps up and pretty much passes one into the net. The goalie goes the wrong way.
I feel like Mount's like one of the most... Like, no one really like rates him that highly, but he just seems to somehow walk into the lineup no matter who the manager is at Chelsea every time.
Think about this for the segment later. He could be a good player to pick.
Maybe next week.
Wow.
Maybe next week we'll put him.
We can even do an audible and do it today because I would argue.
Yeah, I like this one.
But that's a pretty... Like, you know what I mean? Like, this man somehow manages to walk into every lineup at Chelsea regardless of who the manager is. And I think there's even Chelsea fans who are split on what kind of player
We're doing
he
it
is.
today. This is a good one.
All right. I mean, okay.
You guys see?
It's our show.
See, this is why it's one of the best, if not the best, podcast out there. Adapt on the fly. That's what we do. just for the content, just for you guys.
That's just a lack of scheduling, to be honest.
yeah.
But we can adapt and do whatever we want.
We have no idea what we're doing.
Okay. We can move past this game. I mean, but is this a disappointing result? Like, if you're Chelsea, you go to this game, you want to win this game, regardless if you're away from home. Southampton hasn't won a game, it feels like, since 2020.
I mean, when Southampton have 29% possession and one shot, and you have multiple chances in all possession, yeah, you're disappointed.
Right. Like,
you're fucking disappointed.
To me, yes and no. Yes, because... Or I guess no, because, like, a couple weeks ago, they were probably pushing, like, middle of the table. You know, they were just in terrible form and everything.
True.
But now that they're actually turning it around, they're starting to find their identity again, I would say yes.
Yeah, I mean, I guess because, like, you know...
The way they're playing.
You didn't lose. At least you got a point.
Yeah.
It could have been worse. Like, I think, like, if you lose there, it really, like, kills that momentum that you're kind of working on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This game is really not that exciting of a game to talk about, except for the fact that Burnley should have won.
Yeah, that's really the main talking point here is, like, they go up a man in the 30th minute through a red card from West Brom, and you'd think they should get something out of 60 minutes, but...
They managed one shot on target.
Yeah, that's the worst part is, yes, the possession wasn't even, like, dominated. It was, like, what, 60-40?
Yeah, it's like 60-40.
Yeah, they get one shot. I mean, if you're Burnley...
It's not good enough.
Like...
Especially, I mean, they're pretty safe right now, but...
There's 6 points clear. I mean, West Brom, as soon as you get that red card... It's such a kick in the dick. It's like we need every point we can get.
Yeah.
And I mean, West Brom. I mean, they're 14 points right now. They're what? They're 11 behind. Really not. I mean, the battle at the bottom right now is who's going to be in the 18 spot. Is it going to be Fulham, Newcastle, or Brighton?
I mean,
I think Burnley's pretty safe.
I didn't realize how close Newcastle was to actually falling into relegation until this week.
Yeah.
Like, they're really not. I thought there was a bigger gap. Like, I don't know if it was just in my head that I was dreaming about it, but it's not that close. It's not that far.
Maybe the reason you think that is you see them, you see Newcastle, and you think, oh, they're a pretty middle of the pack team. Like, you expect them to play well more than they play bad.
Who, Newcastle?
Yeah.
I mean,
I expect them to get a positive result more than I do a negative.
Listen, with this week, I don't know. This year, I don't know anything. I don't know what team every week is going to show up for who. I don't know anything. I feel so stupid, but I really don't. Like, it's impossible to guess now.
The fact that we're talking about Newcastle and what's going on in the year just shows how fucking boring this Burnley West Brom game was. Yeah. So we're moving the fuck up.
Yeah, and the next game is a little bit more exciting. I mean, again,
yes.
I'm going to say this once again to our Liverpool fans. If you're listening, please mute the microphones or mute your device for the next 2 to 3 minutes.
Oh, yeah, just skip ahead. Up to you, because this is goddamn hilarious at this point. Let's just paint the picture, right?
Another team who's in terrible form.
Yeah. Merseyside Derby. Everton haven't won this one at Liverpool since 1999. Liverpool have not lost 4 consecutive Premier League home games since like 1930. James Rodriguez and Everton say, fuck that, we're kicking the shit out of them this time, baby.
But, so going into this game, like, the first thing that strikes everyone is lineups get announced and Calvert-Lewin is nowhere to be found.
Yep.
And, like, when Klopp found that out, he just, like, laughed. Because he was like, Ancelotti, man, poker face. Like, you never know what he's going to do. And, I mean, there's no one would have expected a healthy Calvert-Lewin to not start this game. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But shout out to Ancelotti. I mean,
but yeah, it turns out they didn't need him because 3 minutes in, Richarlison gets Everton on the board with a phenomenal through ball from James Rodriguez.
Yeah, that slips him in right behind the defender. Beautiful ball. I think as a team in bad form, there's nothing worse than letting in an early goal. Because it's like, you go to the game, you're like, all right, this is our time. We can turn it around here. This is a bit. And then just like to let one in that quickly, you're just like, damn, do we really suck this bad right now? Like, is this really a thing?
When you look back at the replay, too, you could see both center backs kind of look at each other. They just have a quick glance at each other. They don't know whether to step. They don't know whether to close the gap because Richarlison's sitting right in between them. So they don't know, do we step? Do we close the gap? What do we do? And that's what you get when you have, Henderson and Kabak as your center backs. Two guys who just aren't really that experienced playing center back, especially not together. That's what happens. And I said, James.
Well, we thought last week that Henderson was going to move to the midfield. They would maybe throw Williams back there, and they didn't.
Yeah.
But
James showing the world-class play he could bring. Perfectly weighted ball. And Richarlison, all he had to do was just pass it into the side of that.
Which he did. I made no doubt he did it.
Mm-hmm.
The one is now. Do we know how bad the Henderson injury is? Have we had news about that at all?
I heard it was like a couple weeks. I think it was like 9 weeks or something.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I think it was pretty decently bad.
I mean, it was watching the game in the U.S. The announcers were talking about like how unlucky Liverpool was. Like every center back they put in gets injured, and literally 20 seconds later, Henderson goes down, grabs his leg, and they're like, "Yeah, I feel like we kind of did that one. That was kind of on us."
4 to 6 weeks is considered best case scenario.
Jeez.
Fear. He'll be out longer due to groin injury. So
yeah, and this
team is a shambles,
you got to feel for them though. I mean, like this shows you how important it is to have strength in the middle of your defense, like the center of your defense. I mean, literally everything they're throwing back there is just getting hurt right now. No one can stay healthy, and that sucks.
You want to know who I feel bad for?
Who?
I feel bad for the outside backs
and the goalie. Although he's had some blunders too.
Yeah, but like that's the thing though. Is like it's not like Trent and Robertson have played out of their mind. I mean, Trent's had some pretty shit games too, even in the middle of all this.
It's because it's a different team this year.
He goes up too. Yeah, I don't know. I just what, and Danny, you have to feel bad for him. I do in a way, just because you're seeing all the players get hurt. In that sense, I feel bad.
We never want to see anyone get hurt. Right?
Exactly. In that sense, I hate to see players get hurt.
We know you're a United fan, so you like to see it.
But I love to see these fuckers lose games. It's so fun.
And yeah, I mean, to your point before, like Robertson and Trent, they're not having a great season either. But I mean, all their tactics, I feel like, have changed this year.
They have to.
I mean, they're a team that would bomb up the field, last year, and Robertson like almost led the league in assists last year. Was close to it. And this year, they're still getting up, but, I mean, they're more fragile in the back. So I feel like they're almost a little more hesitant to, venture up as much as they did last year without having that security in the back.
All right, and, like, that could be Klopp's tactics, not feeling as comfortable, Yeah. So it's 1-0 really early into this game. I mean, teams this game had some chances. It wasn't like it was like a one-shot to one-shot or two-shot game. I mean, each team had 6 shots on goal. Liverpool controlled most of the possession for most of the game, and Everton seemed okay to let that happen. They weren't really pressing crazy or anything like that, trying to win the ball back.
They were getting their chances on counters.
Yeah, I mean, they sat deep, which is funny because, I mean, really, if you look at the Everton lineup, it's nothing like Richarlison's pretty quick, but he's not a speed guy. James isn't fast by any stretch of the imagination. You're pretty much you're sending Digne and that side down the left side and hope Coleman can move up. But late in the game, we get a penalty.
Yeah, this is one where Trent knows he's beat. And it's Calvert-Lewin who comes on and causes it. And he comes on, he's kind of on a breakaway. Trent goes in, Alisson's out. Trent goes in, the ball gets bounced around, and the ball's going to the right of Alisson, who's down. He committed himself already, and all Calvert-Lewin has to do is pick his head up. He's got a wide open net, and as Trent's kind of still in mid-slide, he just lifts his left foot and just takes him down. Again, no argument here. I mean, he knew it. The Liverpool fans knew it. The players knew it. Just brings him down. It was either that or it gets passed in.
Yeah, I mean, you're taking the chance at that point to hopefully just stay down one.
One sub comes on to draw the penalty. Second sub in Sigurdsson buries it. And at that point,
Sigurdsson's been having a low-key, pretty good season considering he wasn't really doing much in the beginning of the year. He's got his chances to play. He's a good player.
I just want to like on the penalty itself, like on the shot itself. Allison goes the right way, fully extended, and as a goalie, when you guess the right way, you fully commit and you go, and the ball still looks like you have no chance at it. That's how good of a fucking penalty this was, and it was on the ground too.
Yeah, it was like a
It
low
wasn't like he
hard
roofed
corner.
it top corner. He put this thing within an inch of the post, and would pace on it.
I mean, he's known for his like set pieces and free kicks, and
Yeah.
I think he's always been their PK taker. In the past.
He's a
And
confident
Swansea's,
behind the ball on a set piece.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the video of the Everton team celebrating? You would have thought they just won the Champions League final. It was so funny.
remember.
I mean, when you don't beat
And-
this team at home in 22 years, and you hand them their fourth straight home loss in 80-something years, you're gonna celebrate. It's great.
Yeah, so this was, you guys remember Duncan Ferguson? He's like the club legend guy.
Yeah.
He coached for a couple games.
Yeah.
He is in the middle of the locker room during the celebration.
Locker room?
Yeah, like it's in the locker room after the game.
Okay.
Yeah, so like they're playing music, they're all dancing, and at one point it just like pans over, and all you just see is like Duncan Ferguson's big ass head just in the middle of it,
Going
like they're all
nuts.
going crazy. Oh, it was so funny.
You'll have to see it. Like I said,
Great win for Everton, though. I mean,
going for them, Liverpool fans. You guys can stop here if you skipped ahead. You're good now. Turn your volume back up.
turn it up.
I mean,
Sorry, guys.
you have a chance to turn it around this week. I think they play Sheffield. So,
Oh my God! Imagine this Sheffield.
I mean, at
You
this
lost to
point,
Sheffield.
yeah, really.
That's why it would make it so much better.
Relegation. Our next game had some relegation implication.
Well, for one team it did, yeah. For Fulham, Sheffield's done.
Well, I mean, if they win here, they feel a
Done
little
and
better
dusted.
about
And
themselves.
I don't think Fulham even should have won this game. The goal they had, I forget the goal. I think it was, who was it? Who's their goalie, Sheffield? Who gets beat at the near post? He gets the hand.
Ramsdale.
Yeah, Ramsdale.
It should not have gone in.
He had a lot of time on the left hand side too, where he, I think he beat a defender and then just tried to go near post on a shot. And yeah, you're right. Ramsdale shut down a little bit better.
It reminded me of the Rashford goal this week,
Yeah.
which we'll touch on. But this one, it didn't look like Lookman hit it. Again, great job for him to beat 1-2 players and to get the shot off. But it looked like Ramsdale was almost kind of cheating his near post. Like he knew it was coming. It wasn't hit that hard. And he does get a piece of it, which is, in my opinion, I think he should have kept it out.
Yep.
But again, I mean, Sheffield just, I don't know, man.
It was a rough season for them.
Yeah, and you know what?
I mean, you said like you didn't think Fulham deserved to win the game. I mean, they deserved to win the game.
Not
That goal didn't deserve to
Not
win.
that goal.
Right.
Yes.
Like,
I'm sorry, that's what I meant.
Fulham was 100% the better team in this
Yes,
game.
I'm
Created more
sorry.
chances, had more possession.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to switch.
Yeah,
quick,
just to clarify
real
that. Yeah,
quick.
that's
Yeah,
what I meant. Yeah, thank you, Garrett.
Yeah.
For not making me sound too dumb.
Just to make sure we're
I normally sound stupid, but
all
you
on
just
the same
helped
page.
me, save some face. But I mean, for Fulham,
Change it to
they're
finish.
still, yeah. I mean, it does help. That's the big 3 points, especially with the Newcastle loss this week.
Yeah,
and
that's
it
huge
pulls
for
them
them.
within 3 of Newcastle. So, like I said, besides maybe besides that first place spot in the league, from 2nd to 6th, and then 17 and 18 for that last spot, who's going to get out, who's going to go down, is going to be crazy.
Yeah, it's
and
gonna
it's
be
going to come down to the wire, which is fun. So,
Yeah,
It'll be an interesting race.
Yeah. You told me right now, I don't know who. Out of Fulham, Newcastle, Brighton, Burnley, could be anyone. It really could. It's crazy. Sorry, West Brom, Sheffield. I don't have any chance.
So let's move on to the Sunday games. West Ham 2, Tottenham 1. Here's my one question before we get into this game.
Okay.
Now, I bring this up every single week. This guy said if West Ham finished 5th, he's shaving his head.
Oh my God!
They're
I
in
know.
4th though. Does 4th count?
I think he
fifth.
said he might have said top 5. Did he say 5th or did he say top 5?
I don't know what he said, but I'm super
Hey,
excited.
Yeah, he was arguing with you for being, putting them that high at 5.
Yeah.
If they finish 4 or higher, he's still shaving his
You
head.
think he went back and deleted his comment because I didn't know if he still had it.
Screenshot it?
I did
That
somewhere on
doesn't
my
matter
phone.
But
I
anyway,
have to go find the kids in account and go and find them and be like, "Hey, listen, asshole,
I
shave
will.
your head."
I will. I will.
I mean,
it was my prediction.
I mean, we still have 14, 13 games left.
Yeah, we get them out.
But I mean, shit, that'd be funny.
Yeah. Anyway, so 5 minutes in, Mikel Antonio, who's been in and out this season with some injuries, gets a pretty gritty first goal. Ball comes in from, I think it's Lloris's left. and it's played in. He makes a great first save. It's one of those, again, you can't go. You have to stay. It gets a slight touch. It kind of gets his leg, but the first one to pounce on it, falling down, is Antonio. And 5 minutes in, a team who likes to sit back and counter you is now losing.
Yeah.
And I mean, being down, they created a billion shots. 4 on goal, but I think they had 20 shots in this game, which is a pretty high number given, how they usually play. But then, the former United legend scored one later on in this game.
Legend.
Yeah, and I think this is one of the, Tottenham have the ball, and it's a great build-up play, and they counter. Lingard has it, and I think, 2 players, I don't know who it was, but they were pretty much, I think it was one West Ham player and a Tottenham defender kind of, bumped each other, and just kind of looked at each other, and Lingard just, put a little shoulder move on him, just spun around him, and was like, I'm gone.
Yeah. And
then, again, there's the one with the keeper, and he's to pass into the net. But, we mentioned it before, though.
I was going to say, we do give VAR a lot of shit, but this time we can give them a little round of applause. They did get this one right. Yeah. They overturned an offsides call into a goal.
Yeah. So. But you know what? We mentioned this before when we talked about Minamino. It's nice to see him go on loan somewhere, play, and score.
Yeah.
And have fun. You see him out in the field, he doesn't look timid.
I mean, you could just stop there. You see him out in the field. That's already a difference.
But when he does get when he played in the one cup game for United, every time he got the ball, he looked kind of timid. He looked like he was just making the safe, smart play to go back, not really taking players on. But this goal, he takes a chance. He gets forward, and he gets rewarded with the goal. And it's just nice seeing him have fun. And because you saw glimpses of this, when he first 2 years he started playing for the first team in United, and it's nice to see him get back to that. So hopefully he can keep it up. And at this point, that's right. Was that right after halftime?
2 minutes.
Yeah, it's right after the break, and Tottenham let one in the first 5 minutes of the first half, and now 2 minutes in the second half, and you're like, oh shit, now what do we do?
To make note of, Bale comes on at halftime, takes out Lamella, who I can't stand as a player, by the way. I don't know your guys' opinion, but I can't stand him. Bale comes in, does eventually get an assist. He takes the corner. I mean, if you would have told me Bale takes a corner and assists to Lucas Moura on a header, would have told you were fucking crazy. Because never in a million years would I expect that to happen.
Another thing that I think we mentioned, one of the podcasts.
I know exactly what you're going to say.
I was a big fan of players running to the near post and trying to flick on corners. He's not the biggest player. He's not known for his ability in the air.
Yep.
He runs near post. He flicks one on, it goes in. Why? I don't know why more teams don't do that.
I don't think goalies expect it as much. Yeah,
because as a goalie, you're kind of sitting there and you can't hug the post, so you're sitting in the middle of the goal, and now you see the ball come in, you're getting set for it to come in the middle of the field or go over. Now when someone flicks on near post, you're already kind of set or leaning the opposite way. Now you got to go back, react, and there's 4 yards from the head to the goal line. You're not getting there.
Yeah. And worst case, if you try to play it short and you miss the header or you can't get to it, it's still getting in the box, and anything can happen once it's in there.
Yeah. Like I said, worst case scenario, beats your player, goes to the defender, and they clear it out. But in that situation, if the defender's clearing it at the near post with a lot of pace on the corner, it's going out for a throw or another corner anyway.
Yeah.
That's why I'm a big fan of that.
Spurs fans, rough scenes right now. You're 9th place, lost 4 to your last 5. We're sorry. Okay, moving on.
Jose's at the wheel.
Mourinho, not looking too hot right now. Oh, they just actually washed somebody in whatever they played today. So.
Okay, so next game.
Moving on. Could they play Wolfsburg, I think, today or something like that? They won something 4-0 in some
Europa League.
Are they in Europa? Yeah, they beat the shit out of whoever they beat in Europa.
I think it's Europa. Aston Villa, Leicester City. Leicester wins this 2-1. It's it was an interesting game going in. I think Leicester are the superior team, and you could tell it in this game.
Yeah. Can we start, and not us, everyone that watches the Premier League. Can we go into weeks now assuming that Leicester's gonna win? We do that with every other good team. Yeah. I'm not saying 3 of us here. I'm talking about every fan in the fucking world here. But can we go into games now and be like, if they lose, it's disappointment. If they win, they should win. I mean, we've gotten to that point, I think, right?
If you do recall, I did say Leicester was going to come in and win this game. I said beat the shit out of them, but they didn't. I said they're going to win.
My top 5, I think I had them second. So I'm totally think they're one of the best teams in the league.
Well, see, we can't make that argument because we're professionals. You know what I mean? So
we basically know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
we have a microphone, so we win.
Yeah, we have a microphone. He's got a headset. There's laptops in front of us. We have 100 subs now on YouTube. We win. Sorry.
We might as well just be on like ESPN.
Well, can we agree on one thing, though? We're all better than Tim Howard. We can all agree on it.
I mean, that's a pedestrian quote right there. It's very pedestrian. Say something else, Tim. Come on, Timmy. Just say something else. That's all I'm asking for. Just say another concept.
Sorry, I didn't mean to get on tangent. So James Madison opens the scoring in the 19th minute.
He does. Jamie Mads.
He said something so funny, too, in the last broadcast. It was in the Southampton game. He's like, I can't remember what it was, but he basically contradicted himself from one sentence to the next. It was so funny.
Yeah, and I'll always stand by this. When I think he was like when he just finished. When he just finished for Everton and he was calling the games live, I liked him because he could see he could see the plays happening. He played for so many years, but in the studio,
post game analysis is not his point, man. It's not it.
It was like he was previewing the Leeds Southampton game, and he's like, Leeds are second worst defensive record in the league. Let up the second most goals, and then they go into the lineup, and it's like, pretty solid back line here for Leeds.
It's like, pick one, my guy. It's like, how solid could it really be? Like, oh man, I love that. So yeah, Madison scores again. I think he scored last week too. Was it Leicester Liverpool last week where he scored?
He's been scoring like every other game. Game.
Assist from Harvey Barnes. Just kind of plays the ball over to Madison. Little shot around the defender, beats Martinez. Martinez, who didn't have really a great game.
I was gonna say after coming off like one of the best individual performances of the season, last week.
Yeah.
That's what I said was gonna happen.
He definitely fell off in this game. He didn't play terrible, but he probably should have done better on both of the goals. The Madison goal, it's tough to get to, but he probably could have anticipated a little bit better. Either way, good finish from Madison.
Yeah. He hit the post on it, right?
I don't think so. I think it snuck inside.
Yeah.
I thought the post on it.
You know what? If you wanted to hit the post, probably we'll say hit the fucking post.
Yeah. Because what stands out is their second goal that he had a shocker.
He got the save, but he didn't do what he had to do with
it. He spilled it a little bit. Spilled it.
So there's a bit of the ball somehow works. It's like, I don't know. It's kind of like a scramble a little bit in the 18, sort of. It bounced a few players and it just rolls out to Vardy.
No, it was Madison.
Rolls out to Vardy, who missed the initial shot.
Well, he didn't miss. Vardy shoots it on goal. Is what you're saying, right? Okay, yeah. He didn't.
Vardy hit the initial shot.
Yes.
Martinez went down to his right.
Spills it.
Hit him in his chest. Probably could have held on to it or at least parried it out. And it falls right to Barnes, who taps it in.
I thought it was Madison who shot that. No, it was Vardy.
Madison was in there, and I think he took a shot and deflected to Vardy. Vardy hits it. Martinez spills it. Tap in for Barnes.
Okay. Yeah. I thought it was Madison.
And you know what? And that's what you hate to see. I mean, again, he had a great game, like a game of his career, at least of the season as a keeper.
Yeah.
Last week, and to come in, I get it. It's Leicester, they have some good goal scorers in the team, but that's one where when he dives, he doesn't. He either has to go at it like he's going to catch it and take it in his stomach or his chest and hold it, or you have to say, "I'm not getting to this." Turn your hands over, get your palms on it, and punch
the shit out of it.
Yeah, just get it out of there. You don't try and catch it. He was in between, committing his mind. Yes, there's pace on the shot, and he does have to move to his right, but it's either you hold it or you punch the hell out of it. And he got caught in between two minds, and phenomenal player like Harvey Barnes is going to make that mistake. He's going to bury it 9 times out of
10. So it's 2-0 at halftime. They go into the half down 2. Villa comes out firing, and Leicester comes out like they took a nap.
Yeah.
Slow start for Leicester, and Villa get one back, which is exactly what you want to do in a game you're down 2. You want to come out, score a quick one to make it kind of anyone's game. But it seems after Traore scores this goal, it was back to Leicester on the front foot for the second half as well.
It was oh, sorry.
No,
it was weird, like after the Traore goal too. It was like a weird little he just slid and kind of got it in.
Yeah.
And Schmeichel laid on him, kneeled on him almost,
it was
and
so
didn't get off him.
Did you?
And
then he texted you, right? I was like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah,
it was the weirdest thing. He was trying to fight it for some reason. You're laying on him. Get up. He didn't do anything wrong.
Were you mad that he scored on you?
That was the one thing about that goal too. Is I personally Schmeichel should have came out earlier. Because when he starts coming out, sure, he's already beaten him there. But But yeah, he like drops to his knees and he's kneeling on him, and
Yeah,
then you can see him start falling forward a little bit. I'm like, what the fuck? And then someone on Villa comes over and she's like trying to hold him up or something, and then he's just like sitting on it, so he's getting held up by a Villa player, still kneeling.
And then he got pissed for some reason.
Yeah, and then still kneeling on Sherrari, and then Schmeichel gets annoyed.
Yeah, like that's why.
What are you doing?
I think I was talking to you about the game for something else, and I go, "What the fuck was that? Like, did I miss something? Like,
Why?
What just happened?"
Yeah.
It was a weird sequence, but like I said, after the goal goes in, Leicester get back to their ways of just kind of controlling the game, slowing it down a little bit.
Yeah, but like before that, you're thinking, okay, maybe Aston Villa's still in this game because it's like 3
Definitely.
minutes
I
after.
definitely was thinking that.
3 minutes after halftime, and they're a team that can score. They can create at times when they're on form. But to your point, it was like all Leicester after that goal. Like you think if you're Villa,
That's your time.
yeah, you try to push more to get the equalizer.
Take the momentum.
Maybe that just says more about Leicester and their team this year. Is like, okay, they let up a goal, they're not letting up another one.
They don't panic.
Yeah.
They play their game.
The one downside for Leicester in this game is Maddison gets hurt 61 minutes in, goes down for about a minute, walks off the field, gets some treatment, walks back on the field,
Give me another injury point for you guys.
plays for another minute, then goes right back down in the middle of the field, and then finally gets subbed off.
It's like he's being reassessed later this week. He might be okay for
I
the weekend.
have a guy who's inside.
Okay. He's on my fantasy team. And I looked
I'm
at the notes.
I'm gonna get the
Okay.
yeah.
You do that.
He kind of pulled like the Henderson, where like you thought he was good, he got back up, and then you were like, nah, he's not good, and he came back off.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, this
trying to
is
reach out to the guy I have.
it's a great result for Leicester. I mean, they're still 10 points behind City, I think, right now.
Yeah, I think for them it's a fight for the Champions League. I mean, they got to hold off the fight behind them. I think is more of their worry at the moment.
I mean, this is like the time of the season last year when they started to fall off too. So
I can't find it.
hopefully they can keep it up this year.
According to Brian's guy and Google, he's fine.
I feel like it's a team you just can't root against.
It's impossible. It really is impossible.
Yeah. Unless they're playing your team.
Right. All right, game of the week that we assumed was going to be the game of the week, at least, coming into this. Although we did have a lot of good games this week, but we assumed Arsenal, Man City. We assume it's going to be at least an entertaining game.
Well, before I let the two of you discuss this game sucked. That's my opinion on it. It wasn't fun after the second minute. Okay. Oh, I'd say.
It wasn't fun at all.
For you, it wasn't. I think this game sucked.
I mean, it was...
You could start.
So boring.
It was so. What I didn't expect to happen was to have Sterling score a header in the first 2 minutes of the game.
When your defense backs off.
A great assist by Mahrez and the most god awful marking by Holding I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. I mean, you have two backs in the middle of the box, and you have Sterling, who is
5'6". How the hell does he win a header against center backs?
Great finish
in
though.
Premier League. Yeah, it's a good header.
Great finish.
But it's mostly, I think most of the credit has to go to Mahrez because that ball was
beautiful.
just like,
Beautiful. Angled in, kind of just like dipped over.
Yeah.
Finds Sterling's head. And I think you probably thought too, you're like, well, this is going to be a long fucking day.
Yeah.
Like, you're starting like that, it's going to be a long day. And it didn't. For the first 10, 15, Man City was the better team. And then Arsenal kind of worked their way.
They played into it a little
back
bit.
into the game. They had a couple of chances. They had some spells of possession.
I still think it's just so obvious the difference in skill and just the difference in level these two teams are. Yeah. At this point in time, and especially when you go down 1-0 that quick, it's just like you can really see the defensive frailties in the Arsenal team. Good news is we do have Tierney back, and he does make a difference. But I think Bellerin he's got to go. He's got to go.
I mean,
he can't be a part of this team anymore.
Texting during the game, I said to Dan, the one good thing Arsenal had going for them in this game is their stronger side is their left side, which is the Tierney-Saka combination. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to defensive capabilities for City and like getting back, Mahrez doesn't do that really a lot. Sterling is more of like the get back, which is funny because Sterling in the beginning of his career was never like that. But under Pep, he's been more like I'm going to hustle back, try to bring the ball back. Mahrez sometimes kind of, wavers. He kind of gets lazy sometimes. Mm. So there's a good portion of the game where like I thought if Arsenal was going to score, it was going to come from the left side of the field, either crossed in or played in from that way. And they looked good. I really thought that they were going to tie this game. Like I really did.
Arsenal?
Yeah. If for like a good 10-minute spell, they didn't.
No, they didn't. That was weird. Where'd that come from? Oh, I hear my voice talking in your headphones. That's weird. All right, when you get that figured out, I'm going to keep going.
Why? Well, we're still recording.
Yep.
Well, why is it so delayed? Why can we hear his voice?
Unplug that for a second. All right, we're having technical difficulties. Give us 2 seconds.
Okay. And we're back?
I think we fixed it.
Maybe?
I think we fixed it.
That was weird. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, what happened there?
I'm not really sure. To be 100%.
We can hear ourselves 2 seconds delayed in Garen's headphones.
Yeah, so
we can hear it.
See, this is how you know we're professional right here, because that doesn't happen everywhere.
Yeah. And you know what? We just rolled the punches.
Right, exactly.
One thing I want to say about the game, though, is I did not love the lineup Arsenal put out. Pablo Mari and Holding, I think, is a very slow defensive partnership.
Well, yeah.
I know Holding did mess up in the first goal, but I thought he played pretty solidly after that.
He played great.
I thought he had a great game. Obviously, the one marking, 2 minutes in, that will out. That's the storyline. Not that he played good, is that he fucked up on the first one.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really help because he lost 1-0. That's that's the focal point, but.
Yeah, but playing Mohamed El Neni, I don't think he does much for the team at all. Xhaka, I think he actually had a pretty good game, and I think he's been playing pretty decent this season. I know he's a very controversial figure at the club. I've had my certainly bad thoughts about him in the past, but he's been pretty solid this year, even though the team hasn't been. But I don't know why you don't start Emile Smith-Rowe after he's been playing great.
Yeah, if you're gonna rest him, this is just not the game to rest him. I don't think. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't know.
That's just my take. All right, but I mean, the game ends 1-0. City controls possession for the second half. A lot of it. I mean, Arsenal has a couple spells again, but it ends 1-0. It was not a lot to talk about. It was just kind of an game.
Kind of what do you expect to happen in the game, I guess.
Brian, Man United and Newcastle.
Thank God they actually didn't lose to a team at the bottom. Yeah, because that's all we do. Man U win 3-1. I think after the previous results, I think they were pretty pissed, at least in the league, pretty annoyed coming into this one. They knew they needed to get 3 points. They came out, and honestly, they came out like they always do in the first few minutes, kind of slow. And then Rashford gets the ball on the left side, cuts in, beats one player, and hits the ball hard, near post. You can tell us what he wanted to do. Keeper, this is the difference between this one and the Lookman goal. Rashford hit this thing hard as shit. I don't think Lookman hit it as hard. And it
almost looked like he had a better chance of going far post, and he cut it near post, and the goalie had to react less.
He was already leaning far post, and then he just drives this one near post. It's a great finish from him, but then 6 minutes later is where I'm like, yep, this is how Man U does things. Maguire heads out a ball in the box. No one picks up St. Maximin. Hits a volley. As soon as it hits the ground, hits his foot at the same time, rips it. Nothing De Gea can really do about it. He gets a piece of it, but this thing was hit fucking hard.
Yeah.
And at that point, I'm legitimately thinking, well, this is going to happen. We're just not going to win. Going into halftime, I was like, this is just shit. There's no way. Is this really going to happen? And then Dan James gets back-to-back goal. I mean, he hits a goal in the Europa League, and then he gets one in this game. Ball gets played across. I think it was Matic plays it, and Bruno with another one of those. I kind of skimmed off my foot, missed control for an assist. Dan James is wide up the far post.
Never works for you.
It's 1-0 with the keeper. Keeper makes a decision. He comes out. James low and hard to the near post. And after he scored it, if you listen to the broadcast or the replay with the one without fans in it, this goal, I don't remember the last time he scored in the Premier League. I think it was in the 9-0 win. But you could tell how much this one meant to him. You see screaming, he's freaking out. It meant a lot to him. Yeah. And then the 75th minute, there were some PKs this week.
Questionable at best. We'll say that.
So
PKs this week that I was like the Danny Ings, PK.
Yeah.
The Trent one, PK. This one, there's contact, but I think Rashford could have stayed on his feet. there is contact. He could have stayed up, but now whenever there's contact, it's just they call it. You see it.
You made me think about this. I scroll through TikTok once in a while because on our account we get a lot of soccer videos just to see. And there was a video. It was in the next game coming up, but because he said like there's contacts, players goes down. It's Rafinha dribbling down the end line in the Southampton game, and like someone slides right at him. He easily could have forced contact and go down.
Stays on his feet.
And the guy's like faking the announcement. He's like, Rafinha takes the line. He takes the line. Oh, he goes down. No, he's not because he's not Mo Salah. And
I saw that.
So funny.
Yeah. So I think Rashford could have stayed up. Now they look at it. It's given.
Sorry, Liverpool fans again.
Yeah. They look at it. It's given. Bruno steps up, and Darlow was the only keeper to save one of his PKs so far this season. Bruno wins this time. If you look back at the dive that Darlow,
I was gonna say he's like at the 6.
Yeah. So
at the end of it,
Bruno shoots Darlow's right.
Yeah.
Darlow goes left, but he doesn't really go left. He dives like forward to
yeah, he's like on the top of the
head
6.
and his chest wind up on the 6. I don't know how it happened.
I mean,
but
cutting down that angle,
I don't know. Can you see on there if they gave the assist on the James goal?
I can't. Give me 2 seconds.
It doesn't say my app is
Bruno. Yeah.
They did give it to him because I think he did get a piece of it. But
yeah.
So Bruno, a goal and assist. I mean, he's been the catalyst for this team. So, I mean, after Man U's result in the league, was it last week? Where they tied West Brom? Yeah. I mean, you expect them to kind of get their shit together to come out on fire and to win this one. I mean, 3 points puts us even on points at Leicester, but goal differential, we're back in second. So, good win. I'll take it. Can't complain.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to the game we thought Crystal Palace had 0% chance of winning because there's no Zaha, and apparently they were absolute ass cheeks according to the stat that we read last week. But the coolest goal, possibly the season, happens.
Oh yeah, Mateta.
Yeah, that was one of the coolest goals all season.
It was nuts. And I think it's his first start too.
First Premier League goal.
And number 1 on SportsCenter top 10 this weekend.
Yeah,
so it was sick.
You know when a goal gets attention from ESPN, the guy literally has to do a miracle. Because,
especially when it's a Palace Brighton game.
Yeah, like so
for our international viewers, ESPN SportsCenter, biggest sporting show around here, doesn't give soccer any love.
God himself could come down on the field and score a goal, and it might get mentioned. Just so we're clear.
But this goal, the ball's played, it's going down the right side, it's drilled across, and it's behind him. And he
didn't care.
Spins, back heels this shit, and keeper's rude to the spot. He can't move.
I think it would go through his legs or to go
He went to his right.
To his right?
Right.
Oh, I thought
he's rude to the spot. He can't move. Whatever defender was on him looks up like, what the hell just happened? And I'm sitting there like, you're right. What the hell just happened? How the fuck did that one go in?
Crazy.
But yeah, I mean, for a team that hasn't been best form recently, I think. I mean, to score a goal like that to put you up in the first half of this game.
It kind of shows you when they don't have Zaha, they just need some type of fucking miracle to happen to score a goal. Like that needed to happen then.
Their second goal was kind of nuts too. We'll get to that.
We'll get that goals.
So this game goes to 1-0 at halftime. I mean, Brighton, by the way, was the miles away better team in this game. Don't get the result, but where I watched this game, I'm like, there's no way they don't win this game, right? There's no way.
It's like
there was a way. So they do get one in the 55th.
I mean, just look at the shots in possession. I know you can't always base games on shot and possession, but 25 shots to 3 shots, 74% to 25%.
Yeah,
that math doesn't add up. But
mine says 75.
Okay.
But yeah, you could watch this game and no one thought Palace wins this game. Yeah. I mean, there was at one point where I think Brighton had 7 shots within 30 seconds. And the ball just would not find the net for them, no matter what happened. Like, someone was looking down on Palace this game and was like, you guys are going to really need some help, and we're here for you. Because they did not deserve these 3 points in any way. But
Brighton get one in the 55th.
Veltman?
Yeah, I think he's a defender, too. He's been scoring a couple goals recently. I think Gross plays one in. Did you?
Yeah.
Who, Veltman?
Nice. Yeah.
Nice.
Been crushing it. And I had Gross, too.
So he gets one. And then they are pushing the next 30 minutes pretty much.
Get countered.
For a win. And then in the 95th minute, they get countered.
Oh, man.
And with the last kick of the game, cross comes in.
Volley.
Who does it find?
Benny.
Christian Benteke, who I think I mentioned this a few episodes ago. I forgot he still existed in the league. This ball comes in, one-time
How could you
volley,
forget about Benny?
back across to the far post on the ground. Again, nothing the keeper could do about it. With I think there was about 5 minutes of added time. This goal goes in the 94th minute and like 40 seconds.
Yeah.
Last kick of the game.
Very last second.
And the ref goes, boop, boop, Brighton.
Talk about a smash and grab win from Palace.
Boop, boop.
My God.
But so Brighton was in great form before this game. I mean, I think they had like the second or third best record since like City went on their streak. They were like the next best team during the streak, which is like not what you'd expect. But Palace gets 3 points.
Yeah.
And the last game of the week.
Which was a makeup, right?
Yes. Match to 18.
Leeds United 3-0 winners over Southampton, who continue to struggle.
I'm going to have to give some Hasenhüttl some shit here because this is what I was talking about before. You don't start Ings and you don't start Minamino against one of the most prolific attacks in the league where you know you're going to have to score at least 1 or 2.
I mean, can you give him credit? It's a short week, but yeah, you're right. You have to give him.
They did play 2 in a week, which is tough, but I think Friday and Tuesday, which is short turnaround.
Your team is just like in some deep shit though. I feel like you got to try to get the result against the teams you can.
Yeah. I think he's in more shit other than just that. I mean, they can't get a result right now.
No.
Ever since they beat Liverpool away and he went to his knees and cried and celebrated, it went downhill real hard.
Yeah, that's steep decline since then.
But I think Leeds are definitely better team in this game.
Absolutely.
And there's one player in particular who stands out to me, who is having an incredible season. That's Rafinha.
Cooper. Oh yeah,
Rafinha is.
You just said the first name you saw on that fucking lineup, didn't you? You just said the first fucking name.
No, Rafinha's been actually incredible for them.
Yeah.
And they just got him, and he's been such a solid pickup because I had no idea who he was before, and now he's every attack going forward, he plays a part in.
Yeah, he's great. He's
a very skillful player.
Yeah, I was gonna say he can actually take players 1-on-1 too. He's not just a fill in the space player. He can go at you. I mean, Cooper great too, but I'm just kidding. I don't know anything about Cooper except for the fact that he plays for Leeds and he's a center back. But so I mean, Bamford scores again. Some of you guys gave us shit for putting him in our best 11, so you suck.
Suck it.
Right there you go.
He gets played in nicely from I think it's Roberts from almost like the half field.
Yep, and then makes
it's like a weird ball though. It's like. I didn't think there's enough weight on the ball, but it somehow made it through. I don't know if it was just a gap in Southampton's defense, but Bamford does well. The way he shot it, I almost thought it was going to hit the post or go wide, but it snuck in near post or far post.
But was the second goal? Was the Stewart goal or Stuart Dallas?
Stewart.
Mom, dude, you got to talk closer to your microphone, please.
Was it the weird outside of the foot? Goal was that Rafinha?
Yeah.
So the ball's pretty much. He's 2 guys around him. He's at the PK spot.
It wasn't outside the foot. It was a toe ball.
Oh yeah, it was a toe ball.
It was that weird toe poke that just kind of drifted, to his right. It looked like it had some outside spin on it. Just kind of drifted that way.
But the best part about this goal is he starts the move on the counter and finishes the move.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was 100% a toe poke. Yeah. I mean, I think
he's more defensive minded anyway, so you can tell when a defender or someone who's
just swinging his leg at the ball and hoping for the best.
He was like, how fast can I kick this, and what's the fastest way to do it? And he's like, fuck it, my toe.
It's funny because you brought up before the striker's tackle, and then there's a defender's shot. I mean, there's they're just not a natural at it. You can tell.
And then
but before we get into the last goal, I think it's Romeo or someone makes probably one of the tackles of the season. Rafinha's in.
I remember this.
He's in. No one even near him. And he probably takes one touch too many to get on his left foot. But Romeo slides inside the box. If he makes any contact, it's a PK. Right. But he gets the slightest toe poke on it, touches away from him, and saves the goal. I think at that point they're probably 1-0 down. I can't remember exactly when it was in the game, but crazy tackle, but doesn't really mean anything now.
But it was a great tackle.
Yeah.
So third goal, the man that Dan just mentioned. Rafinha steps up for a free kick, and it was a weird one. It was a very nice shot, dipped down over the wall, but it just looked like, I don't know, the goalkeeper just kind of was like, I don't know what to do.
You beat me to it.
So I'm just gonna watch it go in and just see what happens.
I think who is their goalie anyway? I forget.
McCarthy, I think.
Yeah, you're right. I think he could have did better. he goes to his right, and it looked like he didn't know what to do. It looked like he kind of got a piece, but it also looked like he kind of dove over the ball to me.
Yeah.
Which looked a little bit weird. Like he couldn't just get his hand down in time. But nevertheless, he's been, like you said, Dan, he's been a standout player for them, at least in recent weeks. And he gets his goal on pretty nice free kick. But, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I think that wraps up this game week.
And ready for next week. All right,
we're going to
run through it. Man City, West Ham. Man City wins 2-1 over the Hammers.
Nope, West Ham's going to continue their reign, and they're going to make the change that.
Let's go to whoever wants to go next. Brian, go.
Brighton, West Brom, Brighton, 2-0.
Yeah, I think the better team too.
Leeds, Villa. This is an interesting one.
I like this one.
I think Leeds actually wins this. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I'm going to go like 3-2.
I like it. Newcastle, Wolves. Wolves has surprisingly been in decent form lately. I think Wolves gets the win 1-0 over Newcastle.
We'll do Palace, Fulham. Palace coming off a win. I think Fulham, right? They also won. I don't think Palace can pull out 2 wins in a row. I'm going to go 1-0 Fulham. Thrilling 1-0 game, though. Quote me on it.
Done. Leicester City, Arsenal. This is a game that Arsenal needs to win, but they're not going to.
Love that.
I think it's going to be like 2-0, 2-1 maybe, Leicester.
I agree.
Respectable. Tottenham, Burnley. I don't think Tottenham's playing well, but neither is Burnley. You would assume Tottenham's the better team here. I see a 2-0 win over Burnley here.
Game of the weekend.
Game of the weekend. If you would have asked me this, I don't know, a month ago, I would say, yeah, we got this one. Now I'm not so sure. Chelsea, Man U. I think it's going to be a pretty good game. I think United, you're going to have to try and counter. I'm going to go a little bit high scoring. I'm going to go 3-2. Chelsea breaks my heart in the last minute, and Chelsea win 3-2. That's just how it's going to go.
All right. Dan, you're up, right? Yeah, Dan, you're up. Sheffield, Liverpool.
I think it's you, but...
No, I just did Tottenham, Burnley.
Yep. Oh, you're right. You did. Okay. I think even though Liverpool are playing pretty bad and really bad form, Sheffield's actually in better form. Wow. Liverpool are going to win this game.
They have to, right?
Yeah.
They have to.
1-0, 2-0.
Where are you going, Gary?
I'm just trying to figure out. There's a weird schedule coming up. Everton, Southampton. Southampton is literally probably the worst form in the Premier League right now. Everton just came off a win against Liverpool. 2-1. I don't think Everton's going to destroy them, but I think they win the game. I'm trying to think about how we're going to have to do next week. We might have to review both game weeks here. This is weird because it ends. This game week ends on Monday, and then the next game week starts on Tuesday. There's not a lot of time to put out an episode there.
Yep.
Run through it.
I think we might have to run through it.
Match day 29.
And then we'll do one.
29.
Wait.
Yeah.
Didn't we just do 25?
No. This is 26, and then for some reason 29 is listed next, and then 33, and then 27. So figure that scheduling out.
Wait a minute.
I mean, all right, we'll leave it where we are. We might not have a chance to preview these games before we talk about them, the match day 29 games. But if we do, if they play and we don't talk about them, we'll review them next week.
Yeah.
And we'll go over the main games because there's going to be a lot to talk about.
Sure.
We're going to get to the important parts, what you guys are all waiting for, which is another episode of Overrated or Underrated featuring the Premier League and Pine Boys. Here we go.
Oh, God.
The Pine Pals.
Pine Pals. Premier Pine Pals? Okay.
Shut up.
So the first player we are going to give a decision for
I'm doing
is
this right now. You're locked in.
Crystal Palace's Wilfried Zaha.
Dan, you go first.
Dan, you go first.
I'm going to say overrated. I know it's probably a hot take, but yeah, you can't argue that Palace are a worse team without him on the pitch. I mean, it says it in the results and the numbers and everything, but I feel like he's the kind of player that he can go missing a lot. You can't always rely on him, although Palace does, and the fact that they're always lower bottom of the table kind of shows that, the reliance on him hasn't always paid off. But, they're not going to compete with the other teams in the league, for Champions League or higher league positions. I do think he could play for a bigger club, although I don't think he would be the star that he is on on Crystal Palace. So I just feel like because of how good he is on a bad team, I think he's a little overrated. Just my take.
Yeah, I think the consistency is where your
thing,
point
yeah.
to drive home there. Yeah, Brian.
I disagree. I think he's underrated. I mean, you brought it up. Just look at their form when he's not in the lineup. This past week was their first win in what? How many games?
I think like 16 out of 18 they've lost or tied.
So 16 out of 18 games they've lost or tied without him in the lineup, which shows how big of a role he plays in this team. I think if there's a better quality of players around him, he would produce more. He wouldn't be lost. I think for that reason, I think he's underrated. I think he still has untapped potential. You know, if you get a better team around him, again, his team heavily relies on him, and the stats just show it. So I think he's an underrated player.
Okay, thank you. Next,
Who we got next
name. Dan's gonna throw one out at us.
Okay, Dan, who we got?
The next member we're going to talk about is Marcus Rashford.
Near you.
You can go. You're a United fan. You can talk first.
Well, I'm a United fan, which makes this seem a little biased. I'm gonna go underrated. It's tough. Is he properly or under? Shit. Now you know what? I went into this with an idea. Now I don't. I'm gonna go. He's underrated. I think. Fuck. Now I'm losing my head over here.
You're blowing it, man.
I know. Now I'm confused. Now I want to go properly just to save myself the biased argument. I'm gonna go. He's underrated. Fuck it.
You sure?
Yeah. I think,
God, I can't wait to crop that later.
No. I think he's underrated. I don't think he's getting played consistently in the same position. You see him on the right side, and then he moves to the left side. You see him as striker. I think he's the best on the left side. I think if they stick with him on the left side, that's where you're going to see more out of him. He can get lost in the middle and on the right side, but if he gets played the left side consistently, you're going to see what you saw this past week, where he can cut in onto his right foot, hit a shot far post, near post. He's one of the best young goal scorers in the league right now. I think he can only get better. I just don't think he gets the same respect as some of the other forwards in the league do. So I think he's underrated. I think he deserves a little bit more attention for what he does on and off the field.
Oh, yeah, off the field, he's an incredible person. I'm not going to argue that. Way to throw that one at the end there.
Just sneak it in. Sneak it in.
Fucking jackass.
Sneak it in.
All right. He's borderline proper and over for me. I'm gonna give an answer. Shut the fuck up.
No, under.
I said proper and over.
I said proper under.
Yeah.
Goddamn idiot. Okay. I'm gonna say. TikTok's gonna get mad at me. I'm gonna say he's properly rated. I think he's a good striker. He's a good winger. He's a good finisher. He can run. He's quick. He's got pace. He can finish when he has to most of the time. I think where he needs to improve is like his IQ for the game. Like, I don't think he makes the right run sometimes. I don't think he plays the right decision a lot of the time. He's still young. I get that, but I'm just saying at the exact moment right now, I think his knowledge of the game needs some improvement still to be a prolific goal scorer for years to come, when you can't just rely on your pace forever. That's my argument. So I think he's properly rated. I don't think he's overlooked. I just think he needs a little bit more development to his game, in my opinion.
I like that answer.
Hey.
I like it. Do we have any more?
We have two more.
Yeah, we have two more.
Who are they again?
I know who they are, but I was supposed to say one of them. So.
Can I say one of them?
Yeah.
Can I say Harvey Barnes? Overrated, underrated, or properly rated?
I think we messed that up, but
yeah, we did. 100% did.
Were you supposed to say Rashford or was I?
No, I was.
Oh, okay. Well,
you were supposed to say your player.
Kovacic?
Nope.
Harvey fucking Barnes. Debate it. Go.
All right, Dan, you can go. I'm gonna get fucking destroyed in these videos.
I think Harvey Barnes is. Well, no, I think he's properly rated, pushing overrated. Pushing underrated. Sorry. He's a type of player that's really breaking out the past 2 seasons. He looks really comfortable in the Leicester team. He's someone who's scoring. He's starting to contribute. When you think of Leicester, you think Vardy and Maddison, And now he's kind of solidifying himself up there and thinking like, okay, now either one of the three of them are going to score or create a chance. So I think he's still super young. He's in really good form right now. I still think he can grow his game in several different areas. But I think he has a really high future ahead of him. But for now, I think he's probably properly rated.
All right. This is tough. I had an answer in my head, and it's kind of disappeared me at this point.
That's what happens when you're on live TV.
I don't want to. I can't just keep saying everyone's overrated, right?
You don't have to say he's overrated.
He's overrated?
I mean, not. It's hard because like this season he's been rated very highly, but it's like prior to this, no one expected him to have a good season. You know what I'm saying? Like you weren't expecting the year he had.
He had a good season last year.
Yeah. Fuck me sideways. Okay, here we go.
He had 6 goals, 8 assists last year, which isn't bad.
I'm going to say he's. I'm gonna get roasted. I think he's a little overrated, and here's why. I think he is a very Leicester City system type player based on the players that they have around him. I think he does so well because he can feed off Vardy. He can feed off that pace. He has the ability to get the assist because he's a quick player as well. He can feed Vardy in behind. I do think he's a good player. He's a great player. He's a dangerous player. I just think if you put him on another club, even if it's I don't think if he walked into Man City right now, I don't think he makes the 11. I don't think he makes half the bench. I just think
half the bench.
You know what I mean? Like he doesn't make the bench half the time. Sorry, that's what I was trying to say. I think he's a good player for Leicester. I just don't know if he's a great player if he went somewhere else.
I completely disagree.
Well, that's the point of this.
He might not start for City. I don't think anyone's saying he's starting for City.
The league doesn't start for City.
He'd probably start for Arsenal if he played. He'd probably start for.
No, I mean, yeah, but he'd be going against Saka. You think he starts? You think he starts over Saka?
Well, the other side he'd play.
I mean, you're switching his side then. Isn't he play left?
Saka plays on the right. He's a lefty, but he can switch sides. I'm pretty sure he plays on the right.
Oh, he played on the left against City, didn't he?
I don't think so. You said it before.
No, he played against Tierney. He was on Tierney's side, which is left
was
side.
He?
Yeah, 100%.
And he made the argument how Mahrez doesn't get back.
No, I know he made the argument, but I don't remember him being on that side, is what I'm saying. I think he does rotate, and he's played the right before, too. So that's what I'm saying.
Maybe he does rotate.
Because I know he's cut in the past.
That game, he started on the left.
Yeah, but against City, he'd definitely start on the left. But that's my take. Screw it. So, Dan, you have another one. Arsenal player. You can do it, Dave. Come on.
Did we decide on the Arsenal player? I don't remember.
Oh, man.
We need to write this out, man.
He's a tall player. You hate him. He's got tattoos.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't hate him. Did you hear me talking about him before?
I don't talk about.
The next player is Granit Xhaka.
I'll start. He's overrated. I think, personally, he's a waste of space. I think at times for that team, he can kind of lose his head. He can kind of be a dumbass, get unnecessary yellow cards, potentially red cards. I think maybe a couple of years ago, he was a pretty solid player. He's a pretty good player. I think now, I just don't think he fits in the Premier League anymore. I don't know why. I think he could go somewhere else, a different league and play. But I just think for Arsenal, especially with Arsenal, what they have, they're trying to get young guys in. I don't think they need a player like him who's going to lose his head, who's going to go into reckless challenges. And I just don't think he brings much to the team going forward or defensively. I just think he's an overrated player.
All right. Here's my answer.
Oh, God.
Because I'm just accepting all the comments at this point. Right, here we go. I think he's underrated because he's rated so low by most people.
Hey, TikTok, give him as much shit as possible.
I think he is. I think he gets a lot of shit. And don't get me wrong, there's games where he is not great. And I don't think anyone can argue that. But I think there are times when he can control the middle of the field for them in a positive way. I think he can play a good ball. He can get the occasional. He does have a good shot and a good free kick occasionally. I mean, he's not as awful as people play him out to be. I just think a lot of the time he does stupid things that get brought to the forefront of how bad he can be. I don't think he's as bad is my point. Like, yes, he doesn't look great. No, is he maybe an asset at this point, borderline, but he's not a terrible player. He's a solid, big-bodied defensive midfielder that makes stupid mistakes. But he's rated so low at this point that how can he be that overrated? No one rates him.
Yeah, and in an Arsenal team, just to jump in an Arsenal team that has like the very poor of the season, and a lot of times they just, whenever they're in the game, they don't look like the better of the team. He's been one of the better players in the side, and again, like everything you guys have both said is true. He loses his head, he commits stupid challenges, he'll get stupid like yellow cards and red cards, but I still think he provides a sense of, stability at times in the midfield, and I know I can get roasted for saying this, but I think he needs like the right center mid partner, because he's not going to be the guy that will add much moving forward besides from free kicks, and he's also not the guy that you can rely on to get back all the time, but he's a solid center like midfielder. Like he'll kind of control the ball. A lot of times he'll just pass the ball back and forth, but nothing really going forward. But I don't know. I do agree with, I would say, Garrett here. I think he's a little underrated based on that.
What's going to be really funny?
Thank you.
People who watch us on YouTube with the 2 technical difficulties we've had on the recording so far. Yeah. Sorry, guys.
No, I'm going to have to crop it together because the audio's not going to match up. So
yeah, you're right.
So how many did we do so far? We did Xhaka?
4. Xhaka, Barnes, Rashford, and
we're not on it right now.
Xhaka, Barnes, Rashford. Who was the first one? Oh, Zaha. We did
before.
Are we doing Mount, or are we doing Mount next week?
We'll do Mount next week.
Okay.
Give him a reason to come back,
Right. If you want to hit the Mount one. Finally, for the last segment of our day.
Should we shout out our guy over here?
Oh, yeah. So we get to, can I see that real quick? Because he wanted us to shout out some random people's names.
I got him.
Yeah, you do all the work. It's fine.
Yeah, I'll do it. So what's the idea? What was his idea? Let's tell him that first.
Okay, you want me to say that?
You can tell him his idea, and then I'll do the shout-outs here.
This, even though I already said it at the beginning of the episode, comparing Premier League teams to beer, different types of beer. We thought it would be funny, and it makes sense with our name, so we're going to do it.
Yeah, so it was Crimbo Memes.
Yes.
Was the account. And he asked us to give a shout-out to his friends Elwin Jones and Oscar Harrison. What's up?
By the way, I analyzed those names for like 35 minutes to figure out if we were missing some stupid fucking joke in the middle of them, because I was like, tell me some kid's just trying to have us say something stupid.
The guy has memes in his name, right? So
right. And I couldn't find anything, so I'm like, all right, they seem like legitimate people.
Yeah. But good suggestion. We like it. And if you have more suggestions like this, please send them our way, because
we're looking for content.
To do it.
I clicked on Crimbo Memes' account.
Yeah.
He's got one post. I haven't looked at it yet. But his bio, memes are Crimbo.
Yeah, did you see his picture? Show
Dan.
Baby
Yoda. It's like,
that's great.
Yeah, so I love it. Thanks for the idea. Who wants to go first?
So I'll go first. I think we're going to do 3 teams this week, we decided, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
all right. So the first team as beer, we're going to compare Tottenham to Corona. And here's why. Because a Corona without a lime sucks. Tottenham without Harry Kane, just as bad. So that is why Tottenham equals a Corona.
I'll go next. And this is based off at least my personal preference. I'm going to compare Manchester City to Guinness. Guinness to me is, from the first sip to the last, consistently good. It's all reliable. It never lets you down. And that's been Man City this year. All reliable. Never have letdown games. Just consistently good for 90 minutes. Just like a Guinness. It's consistently good for the entire pint. So, Guinness, Man City.
Yeah, I'm taking my boys here and relating them to good old Bud Light. I know a lot of our audience is, not from America, but obviously Bud Light's one of the biggest beers in America. And the reason I'm comparing them to Bud Light is because everyone knows the beer, everyone knows Arsenal. You don't get too excited when you have to drink it. You kind of drink it because it's there. If Arsenal's on TV, I'm assuming if you're not a fan, you'll just watch them because it's a big name team. And usually it just disappoints you. So like you're expecting a beer, you want to enjoy it. It gets the job done, which you can't really say for Arsenal. So maybe that's where we kind of fall short there. But just in the end, it disappoints you, and that's kind of how I feel.
It's a classic name that just doesn't live up to the hype sometimes.
Yeah.
Yep.
But thank you again, Crimbo Memes. If you guys like these or have any other suggestions on what we should do, let us know. That's fun. We had fun coming up with those.
And as we think of more, we'll throw them in the episodes, of course.
We had fun coming up with those. If you have any more suggestions or ideas or anything like that, but I think we can wrap this one up.
Wrap it up. We've had enough technical issues for me to have to figure out. Let's call it a day before we have another one.
Can we just say one more beer comparison?
Yeah.
Do it all?
Can we do like Sheffield to like Heineken Zero that has like no alcohol in it?
It's Beck's.
Yeah, it's like Beck's. Just literally tastes like shit. Oh, duels, yeah.
Sheffield, you are O'Doul's. All right? We don't have to explain that one. All right?
You get it.
That's funny.
Anyway, we'll wrap this one up. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. You can listen to us on pretty much all podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, socials, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram are all at League Pints. The YouTube is Premier League and Pints. Thank you guys again for 100 subs.
Woo!
Yeah, and then I think like I said, we're almost at 1,500 downloads total for the podcast. And thank you guys are crushing it. And again, if you guys have any suggestions, like our boy Crimbo memes on what you guys want us to do, if you guys want to keep hearing more overrated, underrated, if you want to keep hearing the beer comparisons, if you have any other suggestions that we could do for the last 10 minutes of each episode, let us know.
Thank you for listening. Have a drink for us.
Peace.
See ya.